This is NAB Show Live.
I'm Ryan Salazar, and today we're talking about testing and measurement with Phil Adams, Managing Director at PHABRIX. How you doing, Phil?
I'm very good, thank you, Ryan.
Thanks so much for being with us. So let's talk about the history of PHABRIX.
Okay, PHABRIX is a company that I started some 14 years ago, so we're in our 14th year. We're in test and measurement, so if you think of companies like Tektronix, Leader Electronics, companies like that, we do the same sorts of things. What made us famous in the past is the creation of a handheld, which I've got one here. So this is the SX platform. This became pretty famous in the past. We've sold something like 6,500 of these units, and we continue to develop them. That's the SX range, that's handheld. We've now moved on to rack mount products. We have another range, the RX range, and a further range, the QX range. What's key with our company is that we're heavy R&D. So more than 50% of our staff are R&D. And currently we're 45 people, and we're on last 3 years have seen us significantly grow year on year, and this year is looking to continue that trend.
Wonderful. I must say that when you guys came out with that testing device, I was going crazy. I wanted that thing so bad. It's the feature set is amazing. It's sexy, just sexy. It's a sexy device, and it's got just amazing features, and you can send test signals and whatnot, and that is a very, very popular piece of equipment. So thank you for showing us that. All right, what's the latest in test and measurement from PHABRIX at the 2019 NAB show?
Okay, so we as a company and as an industry are riding a number of transitions. So we have a transition from HD to 4K and UHD. That's requiring higher data rates, things like 12 gig SDI. It's also requiring a lot of people to consider whether they move from SDI to IP. So working in IP, that's a bit of a paradigm shift. It changes the way you operate, brings in a whole host of different kinds of problems, and gives us the complexity that we need to support people in either the SDI or the IP world. Add on top of that, there's a transition going on, which is from SDR to HDR. So HDR brings in the wide color gamuts. That's like a new physics. So we've got paradigm shift, new physics, much higher payloads, and we're kind of working with all that. So if we think about at NAB, the first one has got to be the QX. So the QX is our rasterizer platform, launched a couple of years ago. We showed it operating in 2022-6 IP last year, but at this year we're showing it operating with 2110. So this is a very big step forward for us. So we've been working for 6 months under the radar with a beta program. We've been doing that with a bunch of other manufacturers, but also with broadcasters. And that culminates now at NAB with the launch of what we consider to be the world's first fully flexible 2110 rasterizer. So that's our version 3 software. And what's key to our products is we've got up to 16 windows simultaneously usable. And we can show you data about the flows. We can show you data about, the packets, etc. with Windows. We've got some new test tools in the -21 area. So that's looking at kind of simulating an interconnect and looking at the flow of traffic in and the flow of traffic out. We're also supporting, so there's a bunch of numbers now, and I kind of apologize for that, but at this show, we will demonstrate -20, -30, -31, -21, -40, and SMPTE 2059 PTP, 2-port, all in conjunction with something called 2022-7 seamless protection. And that's kind of unique. And when you bring all that together, that represents the QX now reaching a very key point in its development. It's now fully appropriate for implementation in some of these larger 2110 based systems. So that's V3.0 of the QX. Moving on from that, we also have the handheld, which I showed you earlier, is available as a handheld called the SX Tag. Big news is that we have a 2110 release of that as well. So the handheld is now, not only does it deal with composite video, SDI, analog audio, AES, optical interconnects, now it deals with 2022-6, NCAP, DCAP, and 2110, NCAP, and DCAP. So you can use the products as a gateway into all those systems. You can also generate an analog reference from it, from PTP, etc. So it's like a Swiss Army knife, bringing together all those different formats in one really handy handheld product. Moving on from that, we're addressing the new 12 gig interfaces with an SDI stress tool set. So it sounds, we all have enough stress in our lives. So here's us introducing more stress. This is all about stressing the SDI interface. And we've got a bunch of features there. It's all very complicated, all very technical. We've got a new white paper that covers how you use that. But the keys to it are, we have a new PRBS, pseudorandom bit sequence, signal generator and analyzer, which you can use along with your traditional methods of testing an interface. So that's a really neat product. We've coupled that with a REST API, so you can now do some fairly advanced testing within your manufacturing departments, etc., and also in your R&D departments. Further to that, we have a new soft release for the SX range. That's all those handhelds, those 6,500, more like 7,000 now actually, units that are in the field. Every one, even shipped right from the day the company launched those products, every one can be updated with the new AV delay generation and analysis tool set. This one we've worked with a company called Lavo in the sense that we have tested the product in conjunction with them. So we not only did we work with our own test pattern based on the EBU Tech 3305 AV Sync test pattern, we generate that and analyze it. So do Lavo. Lavo also have their own test pattern called the V-Line test pattern, and we are now compatible with that also. So we're launching that at this show, and it's a software upgrade for any of the SX units.
Excellent. Well, I know Lavo very well. We have a personal relationship with Andreas and everybody over there where we can utilize equipment for different types of shows and whatnot. And Lavo is quite an innovative company, and so are you guys. Phil, I'm curious, when you're in Las Vegas, and you've been going to Vegas for a while for NAB show, there's got to be a cool place that you like to hang out when you have a little bit of downtime, maybe after you set the show up, just maybe the night before the show. Anything, anything cool you like to go to?
Right. Okay. So we've been to. I've personally been to Las Vegas. Well, I think I've been to NAB for the last 25 years, something like that.
Wow.
So I'm kind of bored of Las Vegas itself. But what I would recommend anyone going to Las Vegas is hire a car and get out to somewhere that I like to go, which is called Zion National Park. And there's a walk called Angel's Landing. It's kind of crazy. I think it's about 1,500 feet in the air, sandstone sort of. It's very, very steep, quite dangerous. There's no way you'd be able to build that in this day and age. Go there, it's thrilling, the scenery is superb, have a good break, and it'll take you about 2.5 hours to get there, 2.5 hours to get back. That's what I'd recommend. Very nice. Well, if you haven't seen Hoover Dam, or if anybody hasn't seen it that's watching, you gotta go. It's amazing. And when you're inside the dam, you hear this hum that's just kind of under you, and it's all that water rushing through. It's just wild. Phil Adams, Managing Director at PHABRIX. We're going to see you at N4508. That's N4508, right down the street, the hall, whatever we want to call it, from Broadcast Beat's NAB Show Live studio. We're going to see you at the 2019 NAB Show.